Faith. Faith is one of the biggest topics in Scripture. If you read Scripture carefully, you realize that faith is like this key that gives us access to a relationship with God. Over this past couple weeks, I guess couple months, the team here at Transformation Church, we've been reading a book called The Pursuit of God by A.W. Tozer. And in the chapter where Tozer talks about faith, he compares it to an eye. And it's a really neat way of comparing faith. And so in the same way, if you look at your eye, the thing is you can't look at your eye. So the only way you can see your eye is by looking in a mirror, and then you can see the reflection. And so you can see other parts of your body by using your eye, but the eye is unaware of itself. And so Tozer, he said that it's similar with faith, that somebody who walks in faith or has great faith, that faith is unaware of itself. And so people who have great faith or have done great things on behalf of God because of their faith, there's no merit in that. It's not like they've earned it or they're something great. They have learned to look at God. Tozer calls faith the gaze of the soul. And so in the same way as the eye can't see itself, faith doesn't see itself. And so as we grow in faith, we're unaware of ourselves. And that's good for two reasons. One, because a lot of times we feel held back because of our weaknesses, our inadequacies. And so when we walk in faith, we're unaware of that. And the second reason it's good is that when we start to see success in our lives, it's really easy for pride to get in, thinking that we've done something great or that we deserve applause or we deserve for people to think great of us. And when you walk in great faith, there's no thought of that because the reason you're seeing the things you're seeing is because of God, the creator of the universe, is on your side. We talked about faith this past Sunday, and Jesus says a lot of things about faith, specifically in the book of Luke. And I want to look at a couple of the people Jesus talked to about faith, and then I want to point out the thing that Jesus says is most important about faith. And so in Luke chapter 8, Jesus is dealing with two people, and it's a famous story. He's on his way to heal the daughter of a man named Jairus, who's a synagogue leader. And on the way to heal this man's daughter, he runs into this woman who has an issue of blood. She's been bleeding for 12 years. And scriptures describe the way that she got to Jesus was that it was like she broke through this crowd because Jesus is on his way with Jairus and the people are crowding around him and they're crushing him. And then this woman is able to break through the crowd and touch the hem of his garment. And I want to read what Jesus says to her, or says about her. In Luke chapter 8, verse 46, Jesus says, "Someone touched me. I know that power has gone out from me." And so Jesus is being literally crushed by this crowd. And all of a sudden, he acknowledges the fact that somebody touched him. And so when he says, "Someone touched me," he's not talking about a regular touch. He's talking about the touch of faith. And so Jesus physically feels, in his body, he physically feels this woman's faith. And so when she touched him, he felt himself heal her without him willfully making the decision to do so. She accessed his power through her faith, which is incredible. And so there's this incredible interaction between this woman and Jesus, and she receives her healing after 12 years of hoping to receive a healing. And then when this is all happening, somebody comes to bring this report to Jesus and says, "Hey, don't bother going to Jairus' house because the daughter that you're going there to heal, she's dead." And so Jesus, as soon as he hears those words, it's like his head snaps over to Jairus and he says, "Don't be afraid, just believe, and she will be healed." So don't be afraid, just believe. Just have faith. Don't give up your faith. And over again in the book of Luke, we see faith emphasized, where Jesus says to people, "Your faith has healed you. Your faith has saved you." This happens multiple times through the book of Luke. And so if we want healing from God, if we want salvation from God, if we want to see some miracle from God, we access that by faith. And so, Jesus does still do incredible things today. There's people that experience healings today and miracles today, and it's by faith. He physically feels the presence of faith like he did with that woman that had the issue of blood. But the most important thing, and what I want to bring this around to, is that our faith, the whole purpose of it, the whole reason for it, is for the salvation of our souls. And Jesus makes this very clear in the book of Luke. In Luke chapter 10, when the disciples had been out walking in faith and they were healing people and setting people free of demonic oppression, and they were rejoicing. Jesus says, don't rejoice in that. Rejoice that your names are written in heaven with God. So our faith in Jesus Christ and what he's done for us on the cross saves us and gives us assurance that we're going to spend eternity with him forever. And that's the most important thing about our faith.